The home of some of the world's largest and oldest sequoia trees will reopen to the public tomorrow for the first time in 3 years. Some of the trees in Yosemite's Mariposa Grove have been growing for close to 2,000 years. They're some of the oldest living things on Earth, but after decades of visitors in their cars, the grove of more than 500 sequoias was in danger of being loved to death. Only on CBS This Morning, John Blackstone has a preview of the restored grove before today's official ribbon cutting.
It would seem hard to improve on the grandeur of Yosemite National Park, a place that attracts about 4 million visitors a year. But for 3 years, one of the park's natural wonders has been closed to the public while it underwent a makeover to provide a better view of giant sequoias, trees that can grow more than 250 feet tall. Here in Yosemite National Park, the Mariposa Grove has trees so big it's hard to fit them all in our picture. But a $40 million restoration project is making it better than ever to see these trees in person.
Completely restored, and it's just a more tranquil and have a more serene experience.
Frank Dean is president of the Yosemite Conservancy, a nonprofit that raised $20 million for the restoration of the grove. The National Park Service put in another $20 million. How is this different than what was here 4 years ago?
Well, where we're standing right now, there was a diesel fuel station for the trams. So now what you have is the first view you get as you see it framed by 2 or 3 giant sequoia trees.
The goal was to take out many modern additions, returning the grove to a more natural state, removing pavement and parking lots, restoring streams and wetlands, and minimizing the damage from cars and people getting too close.
You can see that people have come up to this tree before and feel the bark and maybe pull a strip of bark off. So if we have thousands of people coming to visit the grove, we just can't allow people to come up and touch the trees anymore.
Sue Beatty, a restoration ecologist with the National Park Service, helped plan the makeover, including new fences to protect the tree's bark from too many hands and raised walkways to protect the roots from too many feet.
All those footsteps would compact the soil around those trees, and the roots are very shallow. So if you compact that soil, they're not able to grab those the water and nutrients that they need.
So this has always been an attraction for people here.
Yes.
Even dead trees, like one called the Fallen Monarch, drew early tourists to the Mariposa Grove. President William Howard Taft rode a buggy through the California tunnel tree. Theodore Roosevelt stood under one called the Grizzly Giant. President Lincoln never saw the sequoias in person, but he recognized their value.
The law that Abraham Lincoln signed back in June of 1864 established Yosemite Valley and the Mariposa Grove of giant sequoias. So even back in the midst of our country's Civil War, we realized that America, maybe even the world, would be a better place if Yosemite Valley and the Mariposa Grove was protected.
The latest steps in that protection were being completed just in time for today's ribbon cutting. But while workers were taking care of details on the ground, visitors will be looking up, way up. For CBS This Morning, John Blackstone in the Mariposa Grove, Yosemite National Park.
That is a place I've never been and would really love to go.
I've been there and actually touched the trees. It never occurred to me we were hurting the trees. You can't help but touch it when you're that close to it.
Because
now we know better.
When you're in the presence of those trees, you can feel it in your bones.
You really can, John.
I thought you were going to say you hugged it, that you were a tree hugger.
No, I didn't.